Hey guys, today I'm going to be going through a few bits of advice to do with your main story quest gear in Archeage Unchained. So guys, first off I want to go through what is MSQ gear or Explorer's gear or main story quest gear. Basically, as soon as you start Archeage, the first green quest you come to, you'll get the choice of 2 one-handed weapon boxes like these here, or a two-handed weapon box. You'll also then get a bow and a set of armor of your choice, leather plate or cloth, as well as later on an instrument. The way this gear works is similar to Hiram, where you get infusions as you go through the main story quest to enhance your gear, which I can show you here basically with this chest. All you do, this is already an upgraded one, it's already awakened, but basically you go to gear upgrade, add it here, you get green and blue infusions like this. You just add them in until this tier you see it go heroic, you hit synthesis, it's heroic, and then what you do is go into awakening, use a tier 2 awakening scroll the equipment, and you get it up to tier 3. The second bit of advice I want to give you guys is to do with changing your gear, changing your weapons, changing your armor type, or if you mess up with overflow XP, and can't quite reach that next tier of gear because you've used the wrong infusion in a certain piece without knowing it. So what you need to do is come to a main city, anywhere that has a weapon merchant and an armor merchant, so Ostera, Marianople, Diamond Shores, just to name a few. And what you can do at these here is if I come up to this weapon merchant, you can see inside of him I can buy a one-handed weapon crate or a two-handed weapon crate. I already have a couple one-handeds in my inventory. And in the armor merchant, if I can click on him, you can buy several sets of leather, plate and cloth. Don't worry too much about the names of these sets and things like that. They're all the same except for appearance, and chances are most of you will wear costumes or image item things anyway. So don't worry too much about what the name of the set is, but you've got the grey, which is your cloth, you've got the yellow, which is your plate, and then you've got the reddy orange, which is your leather sets. So you can buy those there for 10 silver, and it's an entire set, so you need to buy one of those boxes. And then what you need to do from there is go to a general merchant, which in Marianople is just over here. And in general merchant you can buy these beginner catalyst stones. You see I have 7 here. You'd need 11 to completely redo your gear. Once you have these catalyst stones, what you can do is take a piece of gear. So for example, I'll do this dagger here. And then you'd use the catalyst stone on that dagger. You do not get the dagger back, which is why you need to buy the weapons again. But as you can see, I've got all the infusions I used on it again, and the scrolls back as well. And what that means, if you want to re-roll or you want to switch, you can get all the XP you spent back. You just have to spend a tiny amount of silver on the new type of weapon that you want. So of course I'll go into here. I still want a dagger, so I'll buy a new dagger. And then again, I will simply go into the infusions window, put that in. One single green one is enough for this tier 1 dagger. You can see I only have 1 overflow XP. I can't get any lower than that. Synthesize it, 20 labor. So it does cost you a little bit of labor, but compared to actual Hiram gear later on, it's much cheaper to re-roll this stuff now. Now the next bit of advice I have for you guys is pretty much related to what we just did, where you destroy your gear, get the XP back. And it's to do with re-rolling. So if you don't know about re-rolling, basically you can see that each bit of gear has its own stats. This has agility 29, this dagger doesn't because it's not high enough yet. If I go into my character screen, agility, stamina, agility. And when I get these up to the next tier, I'll get a second stat, and then when I get them to Hiram, I'll have a third stat. But right now, of course, we only have the primary stat, and you always want to re-roll before you awaken to get the maximum amount of re-rolls for your gear. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to upgrade this gear real quick. Just put in some infusions. You see only 2 overflow XP, that's great. So we're going to upgrade this. And now if I go into replace effects, you'll see we have 3 change attempts because we've upgraded it to the highest tier in this category. And so we can re-roll that agility. So say we want strength, for example. stamina. If I didn't want stamina, I can hit cancel and it will stay agility. If I do want stamina over agility, I can hit confirm. And you see it changes the stamina. But we don't want stamina, we want strength. So we hit reroll again or replace it again. Spirit, definitely don't want spirit over stamina, so we cancel it and we stick with stamina. Last change attempt here. Agility again, so it's back to agility. We don't want it, so we'll stick with stamina. Now we're out of change attempts. We could awaken this, upgrade it again, and get more change attempts, but we'll have a second stat line in there that we want to reroll to get the perfect stat. So now, if I really, really desperately wanted strength on that right now, I could destroy it, just like this. And then I could go into the leather crate, my bag is full. But for example, you know, you just say I did that to the weapon, go in here, buy a new weapon, and then you just start doing the exact same thing. You put your scrolls in, your infusions in, and then once it's max level, re-roll it until you get that stat you want. And again, if you get your equipment up to the next tier, which I should be able to do, even though I can't equip it, we'll do the legs here, for example. If I go to the Awakening tab, go here with a tier 2 scroll, I can't equip it, but I can show you the effects. So now we've got received melee damage minus 0.5%. That's a very good second stat for this, but we've got stamina on it where we'd want strength. So all we'd need to do is go into here, replace effects. We don't have any change attempts, so we need to synthesize it a little bit, get some change attempts in there. So we'll just do that, get it up to the highest tier we can, 12 overflow XP. Doesn't matter for the video because I'm not actually using this gear. So there you go, put it up to unique, put it back in the replace, and we've got 3 change attempts again. We want to reroll that stamina to strength. And there you go, first time, there we got strength. So we keep that, and there's our 2-piece perfect set of gear that's ready to be taken to Hiram upon the next awakening. So there you go, you can get infinite rerolls like that if you have the labor, and I'd suggest doing it before Hiram because you can get that perfect 2-stat set of gear relatively cheap compared to how you'd have to do it later on. The next thing I want to mention is bows. Although I've said you can do infinite rerolls, although I've said you can scrap your gear and start over, currently there is no bow and there is no flute or loot in the merchants. Which means if you destroy your bow, flute or loot, you can't get another one back. You'd have to gear up without it until level 50 or whatever you want to be to start farming actual Hiram gear, and then you'd have to go and start at Hiram, which will slow you down considerably. I mean, you don't get the opportunity of getting those perfect 2 stats. This has been reported, and we're hoping they add the items into one of the merchants, potentially the carpentry merchant. However, as of right now, on the PTS, you cannot buy those 3 items. And I also wanted to let you know early in case it's the same on live. So do not destroy any of those, especially if you're an archer. If you're an archer and you think, oh, my bow's got spirit on it, it's stuck at that, I'll just destroy it and reroll without thinking. Your main weapon's gone, and you're pretty much going to be forced to reroll unless you can get a bow of decent quality like Ethereum or Delphinad, which no one's going to have earlier than main story quest gear. So just be cautious, don't destroy those 3 items, guys. The last thing I want to mention is not over awakening your gear before you can level to equip it. So for example, you can see right now this is now level 40. I can't equip it. I'd be stuffed. I'd be left without gear without breaking this down, and I'd lose those stats on it, which sucks. So although it seems like an obvious thing, oh yeah, well it says you need level 40 before you awaken it, I've seen a lot of people do it. I've seen a lot of people awaken their gear early at level 45 just because they can, only to realize, oh no, I can't equip my weapon anymore. So just be cautious of when you're awakening things and what level they'll become. You do not want to go to tier 3 main story quest gear before level 40, and I can find out the tier 2, so before level 28. You do not want to go to tier 2 before level 28. So that's all the advice I have for you guys to do with main story quest items up to Hiram. As always, thank you for watching. If you want to see more from me, hit that sub button. Have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I will respond to any I see that I know I can answer. And until next time, guys, have a wonderful day. Enjoy the PTS, which comes out in a couple hours, and I'll talk to you guys next time.